This video is on how to record your SBA Paycheck Protection Program loan and some helpful tips that may be useful when recording journal entries for your SBA loan and how to handle your SBA loan if it is forgiven. This video is brought to you by Donnell's Accounting, Tax, and Consultancy Services. Please visit our website. First and foremost, I want to talk about what is the SBA Paycheck Protection Program loan. As a part of the 2020 coronavirus relief package, money was allocated for payroll, rent, mortgage, interest, and utility expenses for small businesses. This loan was administered by the government. This video is primarily targeted towards small businesses who have already been approved prior to funding being exhausted. So you've gotten your approval letter and it says, hey, you've been approved for XYZ dollars for payroll protection loan. In the example that I'm going to use for this video, we're going to say that this business got approved for $122,345, and they may have requested somewhere around $121,010 based on what they thought their expenses would be for the next 8 to 10 weeks. To make things as least complicated as possible, I broke down actual journal entries with actual dates as an example for a business on how to record the journal entries. So initially, you want to record the actual funding that you receive in your bank account. So for example, a lot of the small businesses that I've been dealing with have been receiving the funds in their physical bank account as a ACH. So you would record the journal entry between cash, and I would use a liability account on your books, any type of loan account, depending on what you numerically recognize liabilities and assets in. So I believe if you're using QuickBooks, I think the liability account is the 300 or 400, if I'm not mistaken. So I would pick a other liability and I would kind of allocate funds to that particular liability account so that you're able to keep track of all the expenses that will be used to offset the money that you received. So for example, we have our $122,345 that is recorded on April 6, 2020, as you can see. And then for every expense that is related to, applicable expenses that you can apply to this amount would be like utilities expense and payroll, rent or mortgage, interest expense. So all of these can be offset with this amount. So as you record journal entries throughout the next 8 to 10 weeks, you would want to do them as normal. So you would pick your expense account and your cash account. You would debit your expense and credit your cash, and so on and so forth. But you would want to do it in a way that you're able to actually keep track of the funds that you've actually used, because you have to think most of the time, and I know for the companies that I've been dealing with, this $122,345 is going to go in the same account as your regular cash, your regular income that you'll be receiving from normal business. So you want to be able to show proof to the government and the SBA program that you are actually keeping track of the expenses that went against the funds that they sent you. So this is a major part of the loan forgiveness for this, and just being in the habit of recording and tracking all applicable transactions. Now, I was informed by a colleague that the best thing for a business owner to do is to have some sort of summary of how everything was allocated. So here's a good example. The original loan amount is $122,345, and you actually allocated $121,010.52 in expenses towards that loan amount, and there's a difference of, let's say, $1,000 $1,000, $1,334.48. Well, someone asked me, how do I recognize that? How do I recognize that gain? Because if my loan is forgiven, then I have an extra $1,334.48 that I have to show somehow on my financials. So that would just be a general gain or loss item. So when you do the entry to show that the loan has been forgiven, you would debit the liability account, which is removing the funds from the original liability account where you put it on your balance sheet when you first got the loan in the bank. And then you're going to then apply the credit to the gain or loss account that will show up on the income statement. And so you don't have to worry about it not being recorded or you not showing the $1,334.48. And then you would want to create what is called a debt forgiveness or a forgiveness of debt expense account. And you would credit the remainder of the amount that you did actually use for the loan for that amount, and that balance out the loan forgiveness entry for the SBA loan. Now, just for clarity, SBA loans are only forgiven if you've adhered to all of the requirements that they put in place when you signed the contract for the loan. And I believe currently for the Paycheck Protection Program particularly, you would have had to kept all of your employees for the next 8 to 10 weeks is one stipulation, and the other is you have to show proof that you actually use the funds for payroll and any in-house expenses, general and administrative expenses that pertain to the business. I reviewed many of the stipulations for the SBA loan and the Paycheck Protection Program, and I had some clients take advantage of it. And I have three recommendations, just for your own personal knowledge. Keep a spreadsheet, record all your entries on time. So that would consist of everything that I just shared in this video about how to track your journal entries that apply to the loan itself. Keep track of all your applicable expenses that offset with the loan amount, which is huge because at some point you do have to provide documentation to SBA for them to be able to approve the loan for forgiveness. And I say you would minimally want to do this for at least 8 weeks because that's the terms of the agreement for you to have kept all of your employees. So this is just my recommendation as an accountant for all small businesses. I did want to cover some additional facts about the SBA Payroll Protection Loan Program or guidelines if you weren't already familiar with what the program was. The loan itself was designated and created to provide a direct incentive for small businesses to keep their workers on the payroll. SBA will forgive loans if all employees are kept on the payroll for a period of 8 weeks consistently, and the money is used for payroll, rent, mortgage, interest, or utilities. I'm sorry, mortgage interest. You can apply through an existing SBA 7A lender. So a lot of times those are banks or financial institutions that you may be familiar with. So a lot of times if you already have a bank that you bank with, that would be a good place to start to see if you qualify for the SBA Payroll Protection Program based on your business type and size. Lenders began processing loan applications, I believe, April 3rd of this year. And so we're about 3 weeks out from that now, and I was told that the funds were exhausted about 2 weeks ago. But according to SBA's website, the Payment Protection Program will still be available through June 30th. So I'm not 100% sure if that means that the payroll protection loan is still available. It is something that if you are a small business and you are interested, that you may want to research and look into. Just a quick overview of what I talked about in this video. First and foremost, this was for the businesses that have gotten approved with a SBA loan for payroll protection. So you received some form of confirmation that you were going to be getting a wire if you haven't already, and you would like to know how it needs to be recorded. In this video, I covered how you record those entries. If you have any additional questions pertaining to how to record specific expenses, or if specific expenses need to be recorded in a certain way depending on if you do cash or accrual, please visit my website, www.danellsaccounting.online, for sample spreadsheets on how to do so. I would give advice on how to track expenses was another major portion of this video. Monitor all applicable expenses over the next 8 to 10 weeks to make sure that you have tracked and allocated all necessary expenses to the loan. And then the last thing that was talked about is the loan forgiveness. So use this information in this video as a quote unquote summary of how to go about providing documentation to SBA for loan forgiveness and showing that you actually applied expenses to the loan. All of the information I mentioned in this video based around the SBA loan and the Payment Protection Program came from the SBA.gov website directly, and here's the link. I will also have the link on my Facebook page shortly, so you can click the link directly to review more information about the loan. Just to give you an overview about me, my name is Danelle E. Dorsey, and I am a master in forensic accounting. I also have a bachelor's in accounting from the University of South Florida and an associate's in arts degree in business. I am currently a CPA candidate in the state of Florida. I was approved in the fall of 2019 by the Florida Board of Accountancy, and I look forward to providing more videos to the public. First and foremost, I want to say thank you for taking the time to watch this video. For more information on my services or for more videos, please follow my Facebook page or my Instagram. You can also visit my website, which is www.danellsaccounting.online. We are partnered with CF Financial Solutions, which is a leading tax provider in Central Florida, and their website is www.cffinancialsolutions.com. Thank you.